Hello. This tutorial is about acquainting someone who hasn't really used Lightroom before or very little or has not used Lightroom in quite a while. So it's can be brand new, could be a refresher. The point of this is to help you get started on our first meeting so that you're not so lost and behind. I will cover this again, but it'll be rather quick. And so this way, I'm hoping that it will assist you in coming into the class and being much more successful. I'm going to give you a folder that looks just like this one, and it says LRCC Jumpstart Catalog. So what this is I've pre-made a catalog with a set of images that we can work on together. And I've arranged for it to have multiple learning pieces to it. And it has been thought out. So I'm going to double click on it. And what we have now is another folder called Catalog. So that's where our actual catalog is kept. So I'm going to double click there. And what we have too is called Catalog LRCat. And it's right here. I'm clicking right below it so you can see where I'm pointing to. And this is our actual catalog. A catalog is only a database. So it points to our image files. It really doesn't bring them into Lightroom, but it appears as if it brings them into Lightroom software. But it's really a preview, and the images are resting on our hard drive or some type of hard drive within there. So I'm going to double click on it, and that launches Lightroom Classic CC, which is a desktop version of Lightroom. We are looking at our library view, our module, sorry. And if you notice up here in the upper right corner, we have our various settings coming back through here. Sorry, it kind of jumped on me. Let me come back. So we have library, we have develop, we have map, book, slideshow, print, and web. So these are our various modules, and this is how Lightroom opens up at default. For myself, I don't have all 7 of these open. I just leave 3. I only use library, develop, and print module. How I can open and close these, if I come right next to the left of the library, I can right click or command click, and then I can click on map, and that turns it off. It just hides it. I'm going to do the same with book, same with slideshow, and the same with web. That way I have the 3 modules that I always use. If I need to come back and I want to make a book, then I just come back and click on the book, and then the module shows up. So it's very simple and easy. So it's just a right click or control click off to the left of library coming into there. And you may see that my name is over here in Ford. So if I come to Lightroom and I go to Identity Plate Setup, then I can type in whatever I want. And if I change my font to whatever I want, it updates it, and you can see it right here in the upper left-hand corner. I can change the font of my modules over there as well, so you can customize your identity plate and also the type that you're using for your modules. Now what you're seeing, oh, excuse me, is an enlarged image of one of our files. And down in the left corner, this is called our film strip. And whichever one I click on, that's what shows up in the screen. So I am in loop view. And if I come into view pull down menu, then I can go back to grid or go to grid. I can come back and go to a comparison survey. I can even look for people. And it has additional ones that we're going to get into, but not in this tutorial. This is more about how to work within Lightroom and what we're looking at. So the letter E takes us to loop view in the library module. If I type the letter G, that takes me to the grid view in library. So that's how we can stay in here. What we have on the left side is if I click on, and hopefully I'm going to click, and you'll see that it opens and closes the navigator. Also has a little arrow, but you don't have to click on the arrow. Over to the right side, we have different view sizes that we're able to look at. So if I come in and type the letter E to go to loop view, then I can tell it to fill. So there's no white border. So here's fit. I have a little bit of a white border. Fill completely fills the area with no border. 1:1 zooms in on it 1:1, meaning that it has 1 pixel of the image matching 1 pixel of my monitor. So that's what 1:1 means. If you're familiar with Photoshop, it's 100% view, which is the same thing. We have additional views in here that we could go to and zoom in on, but those are where they're kept in the navigator. And even if I close the window of the navigator, well, I still have the magnifications available to me. Now what I have is catalog, and it shows me 4 distinct areas. Previous input or import, sorry, is 3. All photographs right now are 3. It shows me where they're kept, which is my hard drive, and the folder name of where they're kept, which is called Image Vault. Then I have collections, and this is a way of organizing my images. Because if I'm out, let's say, if I go to a park for family, I could name a folder inside the image vault, and you can see right now there's no other folders showing, just the outer parent folder called image vault. I would bring my images into a folder inside image vault folder and name it with the date and family gathering, maybe something along those lines, what's the name of the park, etc., etc. Then it would show up underneath here. So folders are where our images are kept on our hard drives. So catalog is the organization, the software, the database for us to, like I said, organize our images, to manage them, but also to work on them in the develop module or print them out of the print module, and etc. So, but from our family outing that I just set up, we could look at the images and say, oh, Uncle closed his eyes, and that's really not what I want. So you can delete that image. But then you have Uncle, oh, what a beautiful smile, and you can put him into a collection. And then all the images that you like from that family gathering could be put in a collection, and then you could just concentrate on those and not see the ones that you're really not interested in at the time. So like I said, it's about organization. Then if I come over on the right side, over here, I'm going to go to the develop module. And oh well, let's look at this. We have a quick develop module inside our library. Quick develop panel inside our library module. Getting ahead of myself. Then I have keywording, which is where we can, like in this case, I would say Portland. We have some rowers, we have the bridge, we have highways, we got a dramatic sky, it's oncoming sunset and twilight. So a lot of keywords could be put in here to help me find exactly what I'm looking for. You don't have to put the date on here, the camera you use. There's another way to search for images with that. Then I have a keyword list, and as you input keywords in the previous panel, this will grow. Here's a metadata panel, and so it tells me the name of the file right here, and I can change it right here, just that easily. It can tell me what the format is, file format. It actually tells me the dimensions. I know it's hard to see, and you really can't see. And I don't know if this will work, but it shows dimensions, cropped, exposure. It gives me all the XF data from my file and my camera. And I can also put a copyright on it down here in the bottom, which I have not done for this particular image. So just inside of here, we have lots of things that tells us about our images, where it's located, what the catalog is, if it's in a collection, and we can put keywords for searching. We can do some quick developing in here if we know how to do that. Up here we also have our histogram, which gives us an indication of our image tones. Also down in this lower left corner, this is where we can import and export images. Coming back into there, we have a lot of different things just here in the library. So, don't be afraid. What I'm doing now is I'm actually clicking inside the navigator, which jumps to a one-to-one view, and I can quickly go to different areas. Look, but person saw me taking the picture, so they're waving. Or maybe they saw a friend and I'm not gonna, they're not really waving at me. So that's the image. If I want to see another image, uh, large, all I have to do is come down in my film strip area and click on it and click on the other one. So this way we can really zoom around. Under view, we have our different grid views, which is the letter G. And so if I type the letter E, I go back to loop view. I can click on develop to go to the develop module. If I tap the letter D for develop, then it comes into the develop module, which is where we are right now. Starting on the left side, if you notice, all the panels have changed. We have presets, which is a way of adding different things to our image. We'll get to that in our class. Not with this one. We have something called snapshots, another panel called history, and collections. So the important thing to get out of this, the left side, we no longer have the folders. So if you have different images you want to work in different folders, then you have to set up or collect a folder that's high enough above them so that they show up in our film strip. Or you create various collections from each of the folders, because collections will always be here no matter which module you're in. Folders only show up in the library mode. So that's very important because it hinders your workflow, or could hinder your workflow, let's put it that way. Coming over to the right side, we have our basic panel for doing this, and what I have is it's in solo mode. If I right click right next to basic, hopefully you can see that it says solo mode and it's checked. If I uncheck it, that means every time I click on a new panel, it opens and the other ones remain open. And it keeps growing the list longer and longer and longer. And so if I wanted to go through this, I have to scroll through all these different open panels. And for me, that's not very efficient. So I go to solo mode so that when I click on one, the other one closes and that one opens. And so I'm able to maintain my cursor more in a localized area. And like I said, it just saves time. For me, it's more efficient. So whichever way is good for you. Right above the basic tab, whether it's opened or closed, we have our tools that we're going to be working on, and we'll go over those in class, but I wanted to show you where our tools are coming inside our develop module. All right, and what we have down here is we have some settings that we're able to do. If I had done some work on it, I could reset it. Let's do it this way. So I could reset it, and if there's previous, meaning if there's a way of applying previous settings from an image to this current image. I am going to click right here. Now there's a down arrow, and I can tell Lightroom I want to see flags. And so over here, now I have the flags. So this is how I edit. I can also ask for zoom or grid overlay, rating. So there's some different views that I can come in with. Rating, means the number of stars I could apply to it here in the develop module. So there are some hidden things coming into here. If I come all the way to the top, there's a little arrow. Hopefully you can see it. If I click on that, it will hide my identity plate and the different modules. So I just click on it to open again. The same thing at the very bottom for the film strip. So I can hide those. Same for the right side and the left side. And so there's a lot of things that I can do. If I tap the tab key, it hides the left and right panels. I'm going to tap the tab key once again. It reveals them. If I hold down the shift and then tab, it hides all four of my panels. That way I can maximize my area. Then I tap the shift tab key once again to bring them back in. As we're working on images and we want to save, what we do is we go to Photo, pull down menu to save metadata to file. It's still Command S, but it's not called saving a file, it's called save metadata to file. So what Lightroom is doing is it may appear to be changing an image. So if I come in and change an image, I know it's really ugly, and then I go Command S, it's not actually changing my file. It's creating a sidecar file that has this as a script, let's say, to apply to this image. So the pixels are the same, and so I'm writing metadata. It's actually changing only metadata. So I'm going to double click on exposure, which resets it to its default setting, which is 0 for there. And we can work on the image. If I come up and click on print for the print module, it jumps into the print module and we have the various panels on this right side. I'm going to click on library. So really the interface, I know I didn't go through the pull down menus, it's not what this is about. It's more about helping you to get started. So to launch Lightroom, we just simply double click on the catalog LRCat file, which launches our catalog, and whatever images we've already imported into there is there. We start here in the library module. The letter E is the loop view, like what you see here. The letter G is the grid view, as you can see here. And to select a new image, we just click on them and we can go within there. The catalog is the database of Lightroom. Folders is where we actually keep our images, and it shows us in various places. And collections are groups of images that we want to hold together as a important part of that family gathering or a wedding that you've attended, or if you travel and you've been to different countries, different cities, that's where we go. Keywording is a way of adding words to an image that we can search for. Um, and Lightroom has a very powerful artificial intelligence AI feature to it for finding faces now. So you could type in grandma if you wanted to, for example, and you can search for grandma, and Lightroom will show you all of them. If you are looking for doing stock work or your what you do for work requires you to find images of blue, you can type in the word blue where there's blue sky, blue clothing, blue water, etc., etc. Then all the images where you've applied the word blue would pop up. So that's the library mode. We have our develop module. Again, tapping the letter D. If I tap the to the left or to the right arrow keys, then it will scroll through the film strip for me automatically, and it will show me those images there. In the develop module, if you remember, we don't see folders, but we can see collections, and we have all our different panels for controlling the image. going back to there. All right, so I hope this helps you to get a little bit acquainted with the environment of Lightroom, especially as we begin our first class.